right, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you back, and we are now joined by the panel. In this corner, Brent Budowsky, writer for The Hill and former aide to Senator Lloyd Bentsen. And in that corner, as opposed to this corner, Tom Borelli, Ph.D., Dr. Tom Borelli, contributor for Conservative Review. Tom, hold tight for a second, because Brent, you've been in the news, my friend, not just for being a Green Bay Packers fan and a New York Yankees fan, but for writing John Podesta. And let me put one of those up. This email is, you could see if we put it up right here and right now. There it is, from April 30th, 2015, 3 p.m. Sorry to bother. No worries, because, oh, no, that's the wrong one. Wrong one. March 21st, 2015. Warning to Hillary Clinton, from you to Podesta. It was not uplifting to learn in recent hours that problems with foreign donations to the Clinton Foundation continue. Hillary Clinton was still making paid speeches for hire this week, and Tony Rodham is hustling gold mining deals in Haiti. Why would you want to warn Podesta? Are you a journalist, first of all? I'm not. Are you a journalist?
Oh, yeah.
So why would you be warning? Why would you be warning John Podesta that it don't look good for Hillary?
Well, because I am an opinion writer. I have opinions. That is an opinion I offered privately. I offered it publicly. I'll repeat it again today. I don't think she should be dealing with all these people in money circles. Now, I think Trump is much worse. Trump was the guy who was writing checks to politicians to buy influence. And I don't know how far he got writing checks to Harry Reid, Ted Kennedy, John Kerry, Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton, and Bill Clinton. But I don't approve of it no matter who does it, and I say that.
All right, but there was also an email July 1st, 2015, and the subject, campaign money and negative ads. You wrote a piece informing John Podesta that you were writing friendly and positive pieces about Bernie Sanders as a ruse to ultimately have more credibility to urge Sanders supporters to vote for Clinton in the primaries. How does a journalist or an opinion writer square that?
Now, I got to be quite candid. You just lied about what I wrote.
Well, I'm reading.
I'm reading
the. Go ahead. I'm reading the report as it identified your email. Go ahead.
Where does the word ruse appear?
The word ruse appears in the characterization of your email by the writer Kathleen Blackhurst, who wrote this piece. Exposing your email, a Trojan horse email.
Well, okay, so she lied about me.
All right, so then you characterize it. You characterize it.
My position on this, I will categorize it as telling the Clinton people that what I wrote about Bernie, praising him in column after column, is what I believe. And if I did write, it will give me credibility that she could have if she would stop attacking Bernie. But what I wrote in the emails, and what I wrote in the columns that I wrote, and what I said on Newsmax TV and various other places in American media are exactly the same thing. There was no ruse. That's just a lie. You can bring her on. I'll be glad to put her into the ground.
Okay, that's how she interpreted it. I'm glad you cleared it up as you intended it. Now, Tom Borelli, do you see, A, a problem with what Brent did in his capacity, and B, do you see a pattern that has been revealed by the release of these emails from writer after writer at the Times, at Politico, Glenn Thrush, etc.? It just doesn't stop.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. We knew the media was biased, but it's really shocking to see the level, degree of the coordination when you have journalists or pretend journalists or opinion journalists offering advice to a campaign chairman. I mean, this is absolutely outrageous. But the American people understand this. They now have a really good glimpse that the game is really fixed and it's rigged against the American people because of all the insiders. Like the gentleman who, has a fine career. I mean, he was a political insider his whole life. Now he's a journalist. The same circle goes around and around. Everybody gets rich while the American people get really looted of their taxpayer dollars and, most importantly, of their liberty.
Brent, go ahead, respond.
Let me break your heart here. Let me break your heart.
I know you're not rich.
I have not gotten rich.
Maybe you're trying now with Podesta.
No. I have not asked for or taken a penny from anybody running for office. Not a dime. And most people in my position would have tried to find a way to do it. I don't want a job with her. I made that very explicit, that I don't want your money and I don't want your jobs. I want a progressive president. Now, I will tell the other guests, there's a difference between a beat reporter, which I am not, and an opinion writer, which I am. And of course, I mean, Walter Lippmann, James Reston, and columnists throughout the ages have had relationships with political people where they offered advice.
With all due respect, there's relationships, but giving advice crosses the line, I think, in anybody's objective way.
Oh no, go read an American Century about Walter Lippmann. He did that by the hour, and he was probably the greatest columnist who ever lived. But my point is, what I wrote privately and what I wrote publicly and what I said on television and what I said on Newsmax, what I said on radio, were 100% identical. And I'll tell you this, if you want to talk about giving advice, we could look at Breitbart. If you want to talk about making money, we could look at Trump. But I never made a dime off of any of this. I wouldn't accept it if anybody offered it.
Breitbart quit to go to work for Trump, and Trump is a businessman who made money. So I don't see the analogy. But let me ask you one.
Yeah, they also fired a reporter for reporting a dispute.
Okay, let me ask you one final question on this, and then we'll move on. Were you acting as a so-called Trojan horse? Was your intent to ingratiate yourself with favorable columns about Bernie Sanders so that later on you could write columns urging those supporters who may be ingratiated to you to then turn around and vote for Hillary?
No, I was writing to praise Bernie Sanders because I believe that what he did that I praised was good. And if you want ingratiation, most of the people that write emails to John Podesta wanted to ingratiate themselves with John and with the Clintons to get money and to get a job. I'm doing the exact opposite. I am challenging the people I support. I am acting in a way where I'm making it pretty damn clear I don't want money, I don't want a job, I don't want anything, but I think you ought to be more progressive and stop criticizing Bernie. I stated the obvious fact about myself, that the fact that I was fair and generous to Bernie, obviously, would give me more credibility appealing to his people. And the fact that Hillary was attacking Bernie in ways I thought were wrong, in ways I criticized to Podesta. So I'm not ingratiating myself to the Clintons, I promise you.
Not to the Clintons, but to the Clinton supporters, I was asking. Not the Clintons, but the Bernie supporters. The Bernie supporters, so that you could go back to them later and say, okay, your guy's out. I'm your hero. I supported Bernie. Now go vote for Hillary because you respect me. Do what I say.
I was stating an obvious fact of political life and suggesting that Hillary Clinton might emulate that by stopping attacking him unfairly, which I said they were doing, which I wrote in columns they were doing. Okay? I was just telling the truth as I saw it.
All right, let me move on, as I promised. Tom, Glenn Thrush, and we talked about this earlier. Glenn Thrush, Politico, sent an email to John Podesta where he said, I'm only doing this because I'm a hack. And he said, is everything okay in this story? Blah, 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 blah. And Podesta said, no problems here. But Thrush also said, please don't ever tell anybody I'm doing this. This is a Politico writer. He's been around for a long time, Glenn Thrush. I mean, my God. And this is typical of what the New York Times writers kind of did, giving Hillary okay on quotes. What are we looking at here?
You know, tragically, the American people can't really believe anything these days, and that's really the tragedy because of what's been going on, this collusion of people who want to suck up to power and get profit or get more notoriety or get more popular, whatever it is. It's really crossing the lines of what the role of journalism is. There should be a bright line. The responsibility should be to report the news, not twist the news, not to give advice, not to play games, but give the American people the truth. And the truth is, really, when you look at all these emails, Hillary Clinton is a fraud. We don't know what she believes on any issue.
Right, Brent. Before we have another whole segment, so I just want to ask you about Glenn Thrush. What do you think of his email to Podesta?
Well, I didn't read them, so I don't know. But I would never say, don't tell anybody I'm doing this. And I'm not a beat reporter, which he is. But I'll tell you this. If you want to talk about frauds,
no. Wait. Does it disqualify? Wait,
no, let me. I want equal time for the truth. Donald J. Trump gave oceans of money to influence liberals and Democrats.
I'm talking about a beat reporter, and I want your opinion.
Donald Trump did a sex video.
Brent,
no, if we're going to hear Hillary's a fraud, Donald Trump did a sex video, and then he denied he was telling the truth.
I value your opinion, Brent, so I want to ask you.
That's a fraud, pal.
What?
That's a fraud.
Okay, but I want to ask you.
Donald Trump tells
Brent, you can't filibuster me. I want to ask you before the break in 40 seconds, does this disqualify Thrush from covering the campaign, in your view?
I haven't read his exchanges. I can't intelligently
He said, I'm
discuss
a hack. Don't tell anybody. Are you okay with this story? If I'm saying it correctly, does that disqualify him?
Well, if we eliminated every hack, which I'd be in favor of, there wouldn't be much
part
to
of the
read.
team, man. It doesn't matter.
Including in the Republican and conservative media, by the way,
All right,
which
guys.
says the opposite of what they believe about Trump.
Ladies and gentlemen, we on the Steve Malzberg Show are coming right back. So please, I beg of you, and I know you don't. After this, you don't want to go anywhere. Stay where you are.